You know, usually we have Apple figured out. We know the cycles, we know the patterns, and we usually know exactly when our wallets are about to suffer. But this year, Apple just woke up and chose chaos. It looks like they have pulled a total Uno reverse card on their entire release schedule, effectively flipping the script on everything we expected for early 2026. Instead of the usual slow drip, leaks are pointing to a massive product blitz. We are talking about potentially 10 new products dropped across 3 separate events, all happening in the next 3 months. It is honestly a little overwhelming, but in the best way possible. So buckle up. We need to break down this absolute avalanche of tech coming our way, starting with the very first event happening sooner than you think. First up, mark your calendars for February 19th. According to some fresh leaks from Macworld, which is basically the German cousin of Macworld, Apple is kicking things off with the iPhone 17e. Now, this is huge. Normally, the budget iPhone feels like an afterthought, a device made of spare parts found in Tim Cook's sofa cushions. But this time, it sounds like a beast. The biggest win here is MagSafe. Finally, the 16e and the SE series were painfully missing this, but the 17e is rumored to finally join the magnet party. Under the hood, it is getting a serious brain transplant with the A19 chip. Yes, the A19. That is incredibly fast for an entry-level phone. Plus, it is rocking Apple's own C1X modem for better 5G efficiency, and the new N1 chip for Wi-Fi 7. Basically, it is future-proofed to the moon. However, I have to be the bearer of bad news. If you were hoping for the dynamic island on the budget model, you might want to lower your expectations. While some leaks hinted at a modern look, the latest intel suggests Apple is sticking with the notch. Yeah, the notch. In 2026. It feels like a missed opportunity to kill the notch for good. But hey, if keeping the old design keeps the price down, maybe we can live with it. We are also expecting the iPad 12th generation. Now, there was a rumor floating around that this would get the A19 chip too. But let's be real, that was too good to be true. The latest word from Mark Gurman is that we are looking at the A18 chip. Honestly, that is actually fine, because the A18 brings the magic number, 8 gigabytes of RAM. That is the threshold for Apple Intelligence features. So yes, even the base model iPad will likely support the new AI tricks. Design-wise, don't hold your breath. It is going to look exactly the same. Same bezels, same screen. But if the rumors of a price drop to $299 are true, this thing is going to sell like hotcakes anyway. And finishing off the February trio, we have the iPad Air. This is a bit of a weird one. We are essentially looking at a spec bump from the M3 to the M4 chip. Is it faster? Absolutely. The M4 is a monster. But here's my gripe, and I know you guys agree with me. The display. It looks like we are still stuck with a 60Hz screen, putting an M4 chip, which is capable of high-end gaming and intense rendering. Behind a 60Hz panel feels like buying a Ferrari and putting strictly regulated speed limiters on the wheels. You just don't get the smoothness that the chip deserves. But if you don't care about promotion, it is going to be a powerhouse. Okay, moving on to March. This is where the heavy hitters arrive. We are expecting a second event, or at least a massive press release drop, around the week of March 2nd. The headliner here is the M5 MacBook Pro, featuring the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. Now, you might be wondering, why March? Weren't these supposed to be out already? You're not wrong. It seems Apple missed their January target. There's a logical reason for this delay, though. We are heading right into Chinese New Year. Basically, the entire manufacturing supply chain in China shuts down for 2 weeks, so everyone can visit their families. It makes zero sense for Apple to launch a flagship product when the factories are quiet and logistics are paused. So, pushing it to early March is a strategic move to ensure there is actually stock on the shelves when you hit that buy button. Riding shotgun with the new MacBooks, we are finally hearing solid rumors about the Studio Display too. The current Studio Display is getting long in the tooth, and stock is running low, which is usually the universal sign that an update is imminent. The specs on this are interesting. Rumors point to a 27-inch mini LED panel with 5K resolution. That mini LED upgrade is huge for contrast and HDR work. It is supposedly powered by an A19 silicon chip just to manage the display processing. However, there's a bit of a debate on the refresh rate. We all want 120 Hz promotion, obviously, but some recent code leaks are suggesting it might be capped at 90 Hz. Which, look, 90 is better than 60, but for a studio display in 2026, we really should be seeing 120. Also in March, keep an eye out for the HomePod Mini 2. This little guy has apparently been ready to ship for ages, and Apple has just been sitting on it. Expect better sound drivers, maybe some funky new colors, and an upgraded ultra-wideband chip, so handing off music from your phone doesn't feel like a roll of the dice. It's a small update, but a welcome one. Now, this brings us to April. And this isn't just any April. This is Apple's 50th anniversary. Tim Cook has been hyping this milestone up, so you know they have to do something special. They can't just release a watch band and call it a day. The biggest rumor for the anniversary event is the revival of a legend, the 12-inch MacBook. But this isn't the underpowered version from years ago. This is a total re-imaging. It is rumored to be incredibly thin, fanless, and get this, powered by an A-series chip. Yes, an iPhone chip inside a laptop, likely the A19 Pro. Before you scoff, remember that Apple's mobile chips are now faster than many desktop processors from just a few years ago. By using a mobile chip, they can make this thing impossibly thin, and the battery life should be absolutely ludicrous. We're talking about a laptop that you might only need to charge once a week. With a rumored price tag of around $599, this is Apple coming directly for the Chromebook and budget Windows market. It is basically the spiritual successor to the MacBook Air, but even lighter. April should also bring us the next evolution of Siri. We have heard rumors of a Gemini-powered Siri update, and it makes sense to launch this alongside a dedicated piece of hardware. Enter the new Home Hub. Picture an iPad that you can mount on your wall or dock onto a speaker base. It's the command center for your home. It uses Face ID to recognize who is looking at it. So, if I walk up, it shows my calendar, but if you walk up, it shows yours. It will have center stage for FaceTime calls while you're cooking or walking around the living room. It's the device that ties the whole ecosystem together, finally giving Apple a competitor to the Echo Show and Google Nest Hub. And of course, we can't forget the Apple TV 4K. It is due for a refresh. The new model is expected to jump to the A17 Pro chip. This is important because the A17 Pro supports the heavy lifting required for Apple Intelligence and console-quality gaming. Plus, it should include that new N1 chip for better connectivity with your remote, so you don't have to point it directly at the box like it's 2005. If the price hits that rumored $99 sweet spot, it becomes a no-brainer for a lot of people. Finally, there's one wild card left in the deck, the M5 MacBook Air. This one is tricky. It is just a simple chip swap, no design changes. But where does it fit? Launching it in March clashes with the Pro models. Launching it in April might overshadow the special 50th anniversary 12-inch MacBook. My gut tells me April is the safer bet. Apple usually likes to let the Pro models have their moment in the sun before dropping the consumer-friendly Air. But honestly, with this schedule, anything is possible. So let's recap. A budget iPhone that isn't garbage in February, the powerhouse M5 Max in March, and a nostalgic yet futuristic 12-inch laptop for the 50th birthday in April. It is going to be an expensive spring for Apple fans. That is for sure. I am personally most hyped for that 12-inch MacBook, purely for the battery life potential. But what about you? Is the 60Hz screen on the iPad Air a deal breaker? Or are you just waiting to see if the studio display actually gets 120 Hz? Let me know down in the comments. I read all of them. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button so I know to keep tracking these leaks. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the update when these things actually drop. I will catch you in the next one.